Good day, everyone. I hope we are all good. It's your boy, Mr. Casio. We are here again. Now, today we'll be talking about, how to solve quadratic equations. That's what we'll be looking at today, okay? And, we have various methods of solving quadratic equations, which include, one, the factorization method. We have the completed square method. We have the formula method, and then the graphical method, okay? These are the four major methods used in, solving quadratic equation. Although we also have some advanced method like the Nitirafsin iterative method, the bisection method, the regular Fassi, and the rest, and the second method, etc. But I'm going to be focusing on four major methods in my video subsequently. Okay. Now we have some examples here. Solve the equations. You can see them. We have three different equations here, which are quadratic in nature. So before we look at the solutions to these equations using the factorization method, because I'm focusing on the factorization method now in this video. Okay. So that's it. Now, before we look at the solution, do well to, click on the subscribe button to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more interesting videos like this. And don't only subscribe, also, share my link to your friends and family so that they can also enjoy, what you are enjoying here on my channel. Okay, thank you for that anyway. Now, let's quickly look at this now. Solution. For the first one now, the Roman figure 1, we have x raised to the power of 2 plus 5x, plus 6 is equal to 0. Sorry, I didn't put it in the question originally. So that's corrected now. Now, of course, this is, a quadratic equation because it's of the form ax squared, plus bx plus c is equal to 0. In this case now, your a is 1, your b is 5, and then your c is the constant plus 6. Okay? Now, solving this using the factorization method, there are some process you follow. And the procedure is you first of all get the sum, and the sum is the middle term. Now, what do I mean by term now? X squared is a term, 5x is a term, and then 6 is also a term. So when you talk about the sum, you are referring to the middle term, which is plus 5x, okay? And then the next thing we need is the product, okay? The product, I'm trying to break it down now for, better understanding. So the product simply means multiplication of the first term, which is x squared, and the last term, which is plus 6. So product is equals to x squared multiplied by what now? Plus 6, and that simply equals to plus, 6x raised to the power of 2, okay? Now, the other thing we need now is what we call the possible factor, okay? The possible factor, okay? I might not break it down in the in the solution for the next one. That's why you just have to focus and then follow up, okay? So possible factors now. Now, how do you get possible factors? Or what's the meaning of possible factors? Before we proceed. Now, possible factors simply means two numbers such that when you add them together, it's going to give you the sum, which is plus 5x. And then when you multiply the same numbers together, it's going to give you the product, which is plus 6x squared. And then this is where your logical and your critical thinking comes in, okay? Although there are easy ways of doing that, but sometimes I tend to look at it as, a kind of a long process. And what do I mean? The best way to do this is to first of all list out the factors of what now? 6, which is the product. And the factors of 6 includes 1, 2, 3, and 6 itself, okay? And then you also list out the negative factors, which is minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, and then minus 6 as well. Now, out of all these factors, you have to pick 2, okay? You pick 2 of them in such a way that those 2 you are picking, when you add them together, it gives you the sum, okay? And then when you multiply the same numbers together, it gives you the product. And out of these factors I've mentioned so far, the best 2 factors to pick that will correspond to this our problem now is 2 and 3. Because I know that if I add 2 and 3 together, 2 plus 3 is going to give us what now? 5, which correspond with what now? The sum, which is plus 5. And then let's also multiply them together now. 2 multiplied by 3 is 6, which is the same thing as plus 6. And it also corresponds with the what now? The product. So and that's why we are picking them as our possible factors. Therefore, possible factors now equals, 3x and 2x, okay? So what we do next is you replace the sum, which is the middle term, which is plus 5x, with those 2 possible factors, okay? Now, doing that from our original equation, that becomes x raised to the power of 2 instead of plus 5x now. We are going to replace that with plus 3x plus 2x. And then don't forget to add your plus 6 to be equals to 0, okay? Now we now have 4 different terms now. Now what you do here is you quickly look out for the highest common factor between the first 2 terms, okay, which is between x squared and plus 3x. And the highest common factor there is x. So you bring out x, and then you open a bracket. You divide the x squared by x, and that gives us x plus, and then 3x divided by x as well gives us 3. Okay, that's for the first 2 terms now. Now let's look at the last 2 terms now. So you also check out for the highest common factor between 2x and 6. And of course, that is plus 2, okay? So you have plus 2, open bracket, and then plus 2x divided by 2 will give you x, and then plus 6 divided by plus 2 is going to give us plus 3, okay? And then that will be equals to 0, okay? And then if you watch out very well, you agree with me that we have x plus 3, x plus 3. So you can bring out one of them, okay? And then you open a bracket. Those outside, you group them together, which is x plus 2 to be equals to 0. Okay, I think in one of my videos, I already told you something about something like this. You know, in mathematics generally, if a is equals to 0 and then b is equals to 0, it implies that a multiplied by b must be equals to 0. And of course, 0 times 0 is 0, of course. So from here, we can just say, okay, since we have x plus 3 into x plus 2 equals to 0, it therefore means that x plus 3 is equals to 0, or x plus 2 is equals to 0, okay? And then from here, solving for x now makes x to be equals to minus 3, because if you by transposition, your plus x crossing the sign of equal to the other side becomes minus, minus, okay? So you have minus 3, or, x equals minus 2, okay? That means x is equals to minus 3 or minus 2. So that's basically how to solve, a quadratic equation using the factorization method. Now let's quickly look at the second example, which is Roman figure 2, where we have, I think this time around, k squared plus 7k, k squared plus 7k, okay, plus 10 equals 0. Like I said, I won't be going through the long process unlike the previous one, so you already got the idea from the first example. So all we need to do is to locate the sum, which is the middle term. As you can see from this example now, the middle term here is plus 7k, okay? And then the product is just k squared multiplied by what now? Plus 10, okay? And then that means 10k squared. So you look for two numbers that will give you 7 when you add, and then when you multiply them, it will give you 10. And of course, the factors of 10 are, 1, 2, 5, and 10. Therefore, means that out of these factors, the two numbers that will give you plus 10 when you multiply, and then when you add it to give you plus 7 are, plus 5 and plus 2. Okay? So you quickly replace the sum, which is the middle term, with those two factors. And then our equation now becomes k squared. Instead of plus 7k, you have plus 5k plus 2k. Is that okay? And then plus 10 to be equals to 0. And then factorizing now, you have k into k squared divided by k is k, plus 5k divided by k. It's going to give you 5, of course. And then you also look out for the highest common factor between 2k and plus 10, and that is plus 2 into, and then 2k divided by plus 2 is just k, okay, plus, 2, plus 5, because plus 10 divided by plus 2 is plus 5, to be equal to 0. And of course, k plus 5 are the same. You pick one, so you have k plus 5 into, those outside, which is k plus 2, will be combined together to be equal to 0. Now, at this juncture, you agree with me that k plus 5 is equal to 0, or, k plus 2 is equals to 0, okay? And then k is equals to minus 5, or k is equals to minus 2 by transposition, okay? And always remember that anything crossing the sign of equal to, the sign changes. I think I've explained this in my previous video on simple equation. So from here now, your k is equals to minus 5 or minus 2. So let's quickly run through the third one, or I think I will stop here for today. I'm going to move the third example into my next video. Please stay tuned and then subscribe to my YouTube channel once again for more video. Thank you.